Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Hello, Robin. How are you? Welcome, everybody in Facebook land and YouTube land. Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it. As always, it's always a great pleasure to know that people do watch on other platforms. Even though you may not come into the live to chat, that's okay. You're appreciated anyway. But I do welcome and invite you into the chat. Please come in anytime you feel comfortable. You don't have to stay, but you can join the conversation. And I also want to welcome and thank everybody that is going to watch the replay because I know a lot of people watch the replay because of scheduling conflicts or what have you, and that is perfectly fine as well. So I do thank you for that. And also, before I forget, because I tend to forget, so I'm trying to remember to do this at the beginning and at the end. If you find anything that you can use from this video that is helpful to you, please don't forget to like, give me a thumbs up. That's very important. And make comments, please. It doesn't matter whether they're good or bad, as long as they're comments, because that's how I grow. So I do appreciate all of that. So again, thank you and welcome for being here tonight. So Robin, I hope you're feeling well. Everything is going okay. Hopefully, I'm doing okay. Nothing to complain about. I still have this jacked up shoulder, but that's okay. That's nothing new. It goes along with everything else that's jacked up. But I'm okay as well. You're doing good. Great. I'm so glad to hear that. So glad to hear that. I tell you, I've been busy, 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 busy this week and the last few days, and I'm anxious to tell you about it, but not just yet. Anyway, hi there, how you doing? Thank you for stopping by. I tell you, I have been neglectful, kind of neglectful, not too bad, with my quilting project. I've not done a lot. But I will have some more things done by tomorrow night. At least that's the plan. That's the plan. But I tell you, as I had imagined, my struggle is cutting. I mm, my struggle is cutting. That's all I can say. My struggle is cutting. But anyway, I'm working through it, trying my best to learn and overcome that struggle and get better at it. But it has really been um, something that keeps it from being fun. Put it that way. And hi, Pearl. How you doing? Thank you for stopping by. Um, do appreciate it. And so, Val, you're talking to Robin. I'm assuming. And she did say that she's doing pretty good, so that's good to hear. And Pearl, I am glad that you were able to stop in. And Val, do you use a rotary or a cutting shake? I use a rotary cutter for now. As I was mentioning to you earlier today, my initial goal was to use a scan and cut. And I still intend to do that because I have another project that I had purchased to do. And then I switched to a different project because I wanted to learn how to do this quilting thing the right way. So I bought a quilting kit and I'm watching this video and I'm doing it step by step following this person. So, with that being said, I am using a rotary cutter. But I promise you, I'm almost certain that next quilt that I start, if I start, well, when I start it, it will be a scan and cut because I don't have an aqua quilt. And I don't know which is better, aqua quilt or scan and cut. But I don't have aqua quilt. I do have a scan and cut, and that was one of the main reasons I got it. So I am definitely going to figure that out. Trust me, that is the plan. But we shall see how that's going to go. So As usual, I'm just kind of waiting to see if more people are going to drop in. They usually do. And I usually start around 10 after. So we got a few more minutes before 10 after, and then we will get started with today's topic. And I have to tell you, it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle. I really need people to make recommendations and suggestions for topics what you're interested in hearing and learning about and discussing, not so much learning, but discussing uh, various topics to help me out because it's not easy to come up with ideas week in and week out and week in and week out. So, the more participation and help that I can get from all of you viewers. And I'm talking to those of you that are out in Facebook and YouTube land. You can always put a comment on my YouTube channel and to tell me what you're thinking, what you're interested in, and all of that, and what you think you want me to kind of get some research on, the background or whatever, and bring it up as a topic. That would be so helpful because I tell you, puzzling this brain every week is not, I'm telling you, sometimes it gets to be cobwebs up there. My husband said, go back and repeat some of the ones I've done and just add to it, which probably is a good idea. So I might be doing that as well. Hi, Carol. How you doing? Thank you for stopping by. And hi, Ann. How are you? Thank you for stopping by as well. I do appreciate it. So I am getting a few more people in here and just going to give it a few more minutes and then we're going to go ahead and open up the doors and get started on this conversation. I have to tell you, there was not a lot of research that was done, so I'm looking forward to everybody uh, putting their two cent in here because it is definitely a topic that requires participation. And this is Shirley's uh, Wind Down Tuesday. So as you can see, I have my cranberry Stella Rosa wine, and it's not my favorite. It's what I had left over, to be honest, about for Christmas. I just found a bottle and I said, okay, this one will do. Didn't have many left over. So this one is cranberry and it's okay. Not my favorite, but it's not bad. But it is nice and cold and refreshing, and that's the good part. Especially since I only have one glass a week when I'm on here with you guys. So Carol, oh, Val, you said repeating is a good thing with some additions. Okay, I'm glad that you think so. So that's a great idea. And Pearl, you have a crafter edge cutter with the quilting dies and your Cricut machine, and you consider myself a beginner quilt. Well, I know I'm a beginner because this will be my very first quilt. So you can't get more of a beginner than that. So, and you said no wine for you tonight, drinking herbal tea. Yeah. Herbal tea is good. I've had, well, herbal tea doesn't have caffeine in it, so it's not so bad. Because I was just going to say, I already had 2 cups of coffee today. I didn't need any more caffeine, but there's no caffeine in the herbal tea. So I could have had that as well, but I decided to have my wine. Wine's more fun. It helped me get through this conversation probably. So anyway, I'm looking at my clock and it says 8:09. So I am going to go ahead and get started. I know people will be popping in, but that's perfectly fine. And the topic actually is, like I said, something that is very participatory. In other words, I need you to participate and give me some feedback on some of this. And the topic is, what is a embroidery project that you just really hate doing, or projects if you can put an S on it, because some things people dislike more than others. And I will start off. I really don't have a specific project per se that I have found that I really don't like doing. Uh, I have projects based upon material, and we can talk about that. I do not like doing anything that is satin or silky. I've not really done the minky. I have some, I just haven't done anything with it, so I don't know how I would feel about the minky. I understand that that's kind of hard to mess with as well. But satin fabric drives me crazy. I have to tell you, I do not like doing anything that is satin. I have yet to master the hooping process that where it does not pucker. Now, I do know that it is suggested, and I even have mentioned it, but I haven't done it. So I guess I had to follow my own suggestion where you can put a binding box around your design to kind of hold it together and then do your embroidery. And I don't know if that would work. Maybe. And the thing is, you don't want too heavy uh, a stabilizer on something that light and sometimes really translucent, you can kind of see through it. So you want something that is going to be kind of light. And I've used heat away. Hated that. Oh my goodness, don't do heat away. I don't like heat away. And I definitely did not like it on the satin project that I did. And what else have I used? I've used, I believe, no show mesh, and didn't really have a lot of pucker, but it's just not a fun fabric for me. So that's my number one thing. And you say you're a quilter, but you love embroidery, and you say you need to be better at hats. Only have done one, and Val, you say you agree. Now I don't know if you're agreeing about the hat or you're agreeing about satin and silk. Now, I knew hat was going to come up because it always does. There's people just don't like doing hats. And I can understand the difficulty of or the concern about doing hats. And I do have a video that says, why are you fearful of doing hats, and show you how to do, hooping and everything. And I guess it really depends upon the kind of hoop that you have. And as they always say, practice, practice, practice. Now, I have to admit, I don't have a lot of problem with hats. The only thing is with my machine, the way it is programmed by brother, you can't get real low down to the brim. But as far as actually doing the hat design itself, I've done the front and the back of a hat. I don't think I've done a side yet, but I know I've done a front, and my machine will go like 5 inches across. Four, 5 across, I think is what it will do. But it's about an inch to an inch and a quarter away from the brim, which is for men especially considered way up high. So that's the only issue that I have personally, but not as far as that of hooping the hat itself. But what I would say is make sure that you learn how to use your hat hoop, whatever hat hoop you may have, even if you're on a flat bed machine. They do have hoops uh, for those for hats that as well. You just have to make sure it's a flexible hat where you can, pliable, where you can push it down and everything and get it flat so you can stitch on it. Another option, which a lot of people use, is you can always put a patch on it. Make the patch, put the patch on the hat and keep on moving. if that is something that is acceptable to whomever you're making a hat for. That can help you out quite a bit if for some reason you just truly hate doing hats. Now, I did, of course, do an AI search of things that statistically have been listed as some of the most complex or challenging, difficult projects for machine embroidery. And that's based upon talking to people and so forth and so on. And the number one thing that they have on this list is jacket backs. Now, I don't know how many people actually out there do jacket backs. I love doing jacket backs. I don't love doing the flip with the 14 by 14 hoop that you have to do, the split hoop that you have to do with the brother machine, although that's all the option I have. So if I want my back jacket back designed to be nice and big like I like them, then I have to use my jumbo hoop, which I do. And I've gotten a lot better with it because one thing, I understand my machine a lot better, and that helps. When you're doing any type of project that you feel is difficult or you kind of don't like, you got to figure out what is it about it that you don't like. Is it that you don't like doing it, or you don't, or you have difficulty hooping, stabilizing, those kinds of things, because oftentimes that's what causes you not to like a project. I know that is the case for me. There's one other thing that I didn't mention that I don't like about embroidery, but it's not embroidery itself. It is designs that you may get. I absolutely hate a lot of jump threads. OMG. I had a pattern, a design the other day. If that thing didn't have 50 million jump, and I mean, it would jump from one end to the other, to the top, to the back, to the side, to over here. That was just utterly ridiculous. That drives me up the wall. I don't like it. I don't like it. And if I get a design like that, I won't use it. I just like, I'm not using this. What I need to do, and I'm planning on hopefully researching and learning how in Embrilliance to, because I think you can cut the jump stitches. I'm not a digitizer. So that's something that I have to figure out. But I want to be able to get these jump stitches cut down to a minimum before I even put the design on my machine. Especially the ones like I described where they're just jumping all over the place unnecessarily. You know, you whoever digitizes that does not know how to digitize very well, because you don't have to do that. Now, I don't know if you guys uh, uh, I just went blank here and I don't know why the picture went out. I don't know why my picture went out. So hopefully it will come back up. I don't know what's going on. Mm. Mm. Hello. Can you guys can you guys hear me? I don't know. Hello, hello, hello. Let me know if you can hear me because I just went out. You can still hear me. I went out for some crazy reason. I don't know, but I reduced. Okay, I'm back and you can hear me. We can hear and see you. Okay, great. Thank you. I have no clue what that was. It was on high definition, so I lowered my definition, and obviously that is helping somewhat. So, yeah, I have to get in touch with Streamyard and see what that is. I don't know why it just went out. It just decided it wanted to be. Things have been acting a fool. My phone has been acting a fool all day today. Had an update the other night, and it's just doing some really weird stuff. So I don't know if it's in the atmosphere, it's in the towers, it's in whatever's going on, but things are crazy. So anyway, I'm back, and hopefully I'm back to stay for the rest of this because I don't know what that was. I have no clue what happened. But anyway, I'm glad that I am back and you guys can hear me. So anyway, and hi Marina, how you doing? Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it. So I don't think anybody else came in since the blackout. But anyway, I what in the world was I talking about? Jump stitches. One of my pet peeves. I probably could moan and groan about that for the next 3 hours because that is definitely high on my list of things that I do not like about embroidery. And again, that has to do with the designs you get because you get most designs have a few acceptable jump stitches. I don't mind a few from letter to letter or something like that because you can usually clip them pretty decent. I just can't stand the ones that go flying all the way across your design here, there, and everywhere like a road map and stuff. What is that all about and why? Those are not necessary. And those are the kinds that get on my nerves. But I do hope it's a way that they can be eliminated in embryons. And if anybody knows, let me know because I'm going to do the research and find out. And as soon as I find out, I'm going to do a video on it. I'm going to do a screenshot of my screen and just show you guys exactly how to do it. That's my plan. So hopefully I'll be able to do that if it is indeed possible. So that's just one of my pet peeves right there. Get that out in the open. So I was talking about the jacket bags, and according to the AI, large designs on jacket backs require big hoops and strong stabilizers, and they do. And I have them, and I've done them, and practice makes perfect. So the more that I do jacket backs, and I haven't done one in a while, the better I've gotten. I do encourage you guys to do a jacket back if you have the capability, if you have a machine that is big enough, if you got a multi needle machine and you've never ventured out to do a jacket back, please do. And you don't have to have the 14 by 14 hoop or a big, huge hoop. I've done a jacket bag with my 8 by 13 hoops for those of you that have brothers or baby locks or any other machine that doesn't have the great big hoops. You can do a decent jacket bag design with that particular hoop that you already have. So you don't have to buy anything. It's just stepping out of your comfort zone and having at it. The next thing, well, we talked about caps. So number one, number two is caps. Number three is shoes. Now, how many of you have even tried to stitch on a pair of shoes. That I've done. I've done boots and I did a pair of tennis shoes. I do have the clamps that I used, and everything boils down to hooping. Are you able to hoop it? Do you have the correct hoop? With my boots, I believe they were really well, they both were easy. Um, the tennis shoe, just a little low quarter cheap shoe that I got out of Hobby Lobby. Nothing fancy, no Converse or Nikes or things like that. Just a pair of cheap shoes, sneakers that I wanted to try. Just try out my hoop and see how it works. The only thing that I didn't like about it is that with that particular hoop that I bought, the design is so small. I didn't like that. And I haven't tried to use my clamps, different clamps, to get a bigger size design, which I'm pretty sure I can on the shoe. And even if I had a bigger shoe. Now, with the boots, I did use my clamp and I did not have any trouble at all doing it with the clamps. I also have Durkee fast frames. So I'm pretty comfortable that I can get a bigger design on a boot and probably on my tennis shoe with the Durkee fast frame using sticky stabilizer and clamping it. So, Marina, you say you're too scared to try shoes. Well, nothing venture, nothing gain. Just give it a shot. You will surprise yourself what you can do once you try. And you've lost me again. Can you guys not hear me or see me? I think Marita says she lost. I think I lost you again. Uh, I can see myself. Okay, Robin, you say I'm still here. Okay, good, good. So maybe that's you, Marina. I don't know. But yeah, because I was going to say, okay, Val, you say you can see me. Good, 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 good. And Marina, you said no. So I don't know what's going on, but that may very well be on your end because everybody else is saying they can hear and see me. So, okay. And you said some software has stitch simulators on. Yes, Embrilliance does. Now, um, I'm thinking, hmm, I guess that would help with getting rid of the jump stitches, doing the simulators and then removing them as they come up. That's a thought. That's a thought. I have to look into that. That's a good idea. Have you done that, Anne? Use your simulator to get rid of jump stitches? And Kara, you say you usually have a part in any new project that gets me grumpy, but by the time I get it done, I'm usually excited about it, how it turned out. Kind of like childbirth, you forget how hard it was until it's time to do it again. Then you are quickly reminded that hurts. Why did I do this again? Hmm. I did it 3 times and I said, enough is enough. I finally learned my lesson. Oh boy. Yes. I I like pretty if I do a project, it's usually because I like it. I usually don't do anything I don't like unless I'm challenged to do it for some reason. Like I'm doing this quilting thing that I have to learn to like because I got to do it. But if I select it on my own, usually I like it or think I like it until I get into it. Then I probably ask myself, why did I do that? I don't know. Okay, Marina, you say I'm back again. Good. I'm glad to hear that. And okay, and you say if you do the stitch simulator, you see how many jump stitches there are. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. So once you see how many jump stitches there are, then I guess the next thing is to figure out how to get rid of them, which I think I might know how to do a little bit. So thanks for that suggestion because I did not think about the stitch simulator. Because I tell you, I got this one design I just did that is driving me. Well, it drove me. I was not happy. I actually said that it was going in the trash. I wasn't gonna ever do that design again because it had so many. Um, and Val, you said you put in color changes in the past, which causes a tie off and tie on, no jump. But that is an old way. Okay, so you already told me you know a little bit about digitizing. See, I don't know any of that. I know the terminology, but as far as me actually physically doing that, I've not done. I need to. I got so many things I need to learn how to do, and that is one of them learning how to do a little digitizing because I have two digitizing softwares. I have Wilcom Hatch and I also have Brother PE Design 11. And I can do digitizing in both of those softwares. I just have not done them yet, but I definitely need to do that. And Marina, quilt basket. Oh, okay. So you left and came back and it worked. So that's good. Glad it worked. So number 4 is leather apparel. Leather demands precision and can be unforgiving of mistakes, which is true. I've never really stitched on real leather, but I have faux leather quite a bit. I've made several things with faux leather. And I have to admit, it can be challenging if you mess up because the holes are there and they're not going away. So you have to figure out what you're going to do if you mess up. Be honest about it. What are you going to do if you mess up? You may have to start all over again if you can't figure out how to fix it and go back directly into those same holes. So, yeah, that can be very challenging. Although, just take your time, read your directions, make sure everything is the way you want it to be. It's hooped correctly, stabilized correctly, all of those things, and uh, go for it. And just practice, practice, practice. Walmart has faux leather or vinyl, however, whatever you want to call it, that is relatively inexpensive, which I would recommend if you want to get into that to try before you step out with something more expensive like real leather or even more expensive marine vinyl or faux leather. Um, Hobby Lobby has a nice selection of marine vinyl slash faux leather where I bought quite a bit from. And I like stitching, using that to make things with. Again, like I said, I've not ventured out to anything that is of real leather and probably won't because I don't know how many people do. And I'm not a sewist, so I'm not going to make a leather jacket or, I mean, I got tons of leather jackets now and I don't wear any of them. But I don't see myself, even with a purse, if I made a purse, it'd probably be faux leather. I'm not going to do a real one. But the marine vinyl, either in Walmart or Hobby Lobby, are relatively inexpensive, depending upon what you get. Hobby Lobby does have some a little bit more expensive. I Joanne Marine vinyl is kind of expensive, but Walmart does have the least expensive, and I would suggest you start there and just give it a try because, again, like it says, it demands precision and can be unforgiving of mistakes. And I've made some mistakes, and that is very true. The number five is denim, and it says denim materials like denim are hard on needles and require careful handling. And that's basically because they're saying it's thick and stiff, can be, depending upon the type of denim that you buy. But I've stitched on denim before, and I've not had any issue. The main thing you have to learn, which I think I mentioned already, is number one, how to hoop. Number two, what needle, and number three, what stabilizer. And it doesn't have to be in that order, but those are the three main things that you have to think about. And you need to also think about the design. The design that you put on any project is very important. And a lot of times people don't think about designs and whether or not this design is appropriate for the fabric because you can have too dense of a design and going on too thin of a fabric, or you can have too thin or too sparse of a design going on something that is a little thick and it just kind of washes away and you don't get the beauty of the design because it probably would look a lot better and a lot richer if it had more stitches like satin stitches and frills and things like that where you can actually see and appreciate the design. I know I have made some faux leather purses and the ones that have the most stitches in it are the ones that I think are just absolutely gorgeous. It makes the whole thing look really, really rich and nice. And that's what I like. Same thing with denim. Now, of course, when you're doing t-shirts, you got to be careful because t-shirt is like jersey knit. It moves, it stretches, and if you don't hoop it right, if you don't stabilize it right, if you don't use the right needle, all of those things can just make it go wonky. And some people don't do well with t-shirt this stitching on t-shirts. I've not had an issue. I've done lots of projects on t-shirts and they've come out really well. I'm very content with it. I have stitched on t-shirt made with what John Deere calls bullet uh, breast plates or whatever because it's so thick and tight. That was the wrong design for that shirt, but that's a learning project process. Won't do that again because it was not the right design for that shirt. I wanted it on that shirt, put it on that shirt, didn't work on that shirt, won't do that again. But that's just how it goes. Or you take some of the density away and see how that works. So that's also a um, um, suggestion or alternative that you might be able to work with. Hi, Deborah. How you doing? Good evening. Thank you for stopping by. So to go along with denim is canvas. Canvas bags, heavy duty fabric like canvas are difficult to hoop and may need stronger needles. Exact same thing with denim. So you put those two in the same category. Canvas bags, if you have Durkee fast frames, you can really do pretty good with canvas bags, how you hoop them and everything. And if you, of course, if you have a multi-needle machine, it helps too because you can actually go around and it can be easier than a flatbed. But keep in mind, you can do practically everything on a flatbed that you can do on a multi-needle machine, including jacket back, especially all of you women out there that are blessed to have these nice, big, beautiful embroidery machines, such as your Luminaire and your Solaris and Dream Machines and any of these other machines that have those nice big hoops, you can definitely do things like that because your hoops are even bigger than the 10 needle hoops. I'm jealous. I am so jealous. I would love to have that big hoop. Number 7 is bathing suits. Stretchy fabrics used in bathing suits pose a significant challenge. Now that makes me think about satin. I never bought the material that you use to make a bathing suit, probably won't, because I know I won't be making a bathing suit. Now you can use that knit material for other things, but I ain't making no bathing suit. But I can see where that can be challenging. And Pearl, you say you have embroidered on real leather using leather needles and had no problem. There's a place I get leather scraps from just to practice on. Perfect. I use leather needles when I'm doing faux leather. They do have needles that say vinyl, and of course, they have needles that say leather. And I think I have both. I know I have leather needles, and that's what I've been using. And that's what I recommend. I recommend that everybody utilize the correct needle based upon your fabric. And there's lots of different resources out there that you can get that can, help you with making a decision as to what needle is appropriate for what fabric, along with what stabilizer is. Like Dime's compass, the little round wheel that tells you if you spin it around to the fabric you're going to use, it would recommend the needle, the size, the stabilizer, and all of that. Very good resource. Embrilliance also has a fabric suggestion in their software up at the top where you can, and I don't remember what icon it is to pull it down from, but they also have that. So, and I'm sure other softwares, design editing softwares and digitizing software definitely has that feature as well. So I do highly recommend that you utilize those resources when you're using any type of specialty fabric to make sure that you have or to help you have a good outcome. So don't forget about those resources. Hi, Danielle and Becky. Hi, how are you doing? Thank you for stopping by. Do appreciate it. Number 8. I've not done these before, and that's gloves. Small and intricate gloves are difficult for proper hooping and stabilizing. Now, just the thought of gloves, I would definitely use my Durkee fast frame for gloves. That's the only thing that I can think of that I would maybe no, my clap is too big. So it would definitely have to be Durkee fast frames that I use to stitch on gloves. And that would be the same as socks, Carol. I'm going to get around those socks. I promise you. I have not forgotten. I just have not gotten a chance to get around to it. But I will definitely be doing some socks. And who knows, I may even throw in some gloves on top of that just to see how that works. That's a good topic for me to do on my channel. Gloves and socks. Yep, that's a good topic right there. I'll get it done eventually. It's on my list. Excuse me. Um, Number 9, tight knit afghans. Preventing stitches from sinking into the fabric is a common issue. Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. A nice thick afghan. I think I would go the patch route for that, perhaps. I don't know. I've never really thought about it. Never really thought about it. Has anybody done that before? And Carol, I see your exclamation mark on socks. I told you, I promise you, I've not forgotten it. I just haven't done it yet. And but I will. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. Not gonna promise you when it's gonna happen, but it will happen. You're it is definitely on my list because I want to do it. And like I said, I probably add gloves to the mix, do a pair of gloves and a pair of socks and see how that works. I anticipate it's going to be okay, even without a socks hoop, which I don't have. I think I can do it pretty good with my Durkee fast frame, to be honest about it. But you know, and that's probably what I'll try. Number 10 is outerwear. Items like ski jackets can be compromised if not embroidered correctly. Um, bulky, hard to hoop, uh, hard to stay in place. Kind of reminds me of what it would be with the minky or the satin, even that slippery type fabric. Yeah, but depends upon what the outerwear is. Like people do Carhartt jackets all the time. Um, the bubble jackets, I guess, would be the same as the ski. Maybe I don't know. And it depends upon the fabric. I have done. Yeah, I put a name on two jackets recently, and the fabric was fine, and it wasn't that bulky, so it wasn't a big deal. Didn't think anything of it when I got the order, but I guess it really depends upon how large it is. I know Jeanette from Baroka Sewing and Craft, she had some orders for some big down jackets. I believe they were down jackets, down blankets, something down. I believe they were jackets, and I think she has a video on it, but she did. Uh, it was a challenge. She did it, of course, because she does very well. She's, as she says, an expert embroiderer, so she did it. You all might want to check out her video if you're interested in it. I've not been challenged with that yet, so if that comes up, we'll see how that goes. And you did wool beanies last year with the names on it for your grandchildren. Yeah, the beanies aren't so bad. They're not so bad. They do stretch and everything, so you might want to put a binding box around it that can keep it in place. That helps sometimes. But I've done beanies too. And it wasn't bad. It wasn't like some people think that a cap would be. And Marina, you asked, should you should embroider on your hair bands or hair wraps that you've seen me wear. Well, I ain't got nothing to band right now. I've not thought about doing anything on my hair bands, um, or the hair wraps that I've worn. Hadn't thought about them. That's an idea. That's an idea. That's an idea. Yeah. Personalized things. Personalized things. That's a good idea. Thank you. Hair, hair bands are definitely something that people can do, and hair wraps. I might add that to my mix. Who knows? I might. Number 11, home decor. Large items like tablecloths require larger hoops and extensive stabilizing. And it depends upon what design you're putting on your tablecloth. It can definitely be a challenge because they can be big, bulky, and a lot of hooping and moving around. But I have not done a tablecloth yet. I was questioned about doing a tablecloth when I first started doing embroidery, but that never did uh, play out. So I've not done it yet, but I think I'm up for the challenge. However, again, it depends upon how large they want the design to be and what kind of machine. Because if you have to put a lot of stuff on there, then you're going to have to figure out how to maneuver everything and keep everything straight, or however you're going to do the design to make it look nice and uniform. But yeah, it can be a challenge to do. If anybody has done it, let me know. I'm interested in knowing how that turned out for you. Number 12 are belts. Their long, narrow shape and thickness make belts a cumbersome project. Now, it depends upon how much you want on there. Two things. I can see doing it with the Durkee fast frame if you want a lot and clamping it. Use the sticky stabilizer to make it stay in place, but then clamping it on the end. And you can go ahead and stitch on it because I've stitched on an inch um, wristlet, so you can definitely get the stitching in there. You can in the big machine back here, and I'm sure the single needle machine you can do it probably even easier to adjust it and make sure that you're going to get it where you need it to be. Uh, and if you're going to do it in a small space, I've done it with my mighty hoop. I just clamped it down, my 5x5 mighty hoop, and went on about my business, did it, no problem. I've not actually done belts, but I have done the wristlets and leashes and stuff like that. And that's no different than a belt. It's just a belt, just a little bit thicker. But if you use a mighty hoop or something like that, or like I said, the fast frame and clamp it down, then you shouldn't have an issue with it staying in place. So give belts a try. Don't run from them if you get the opportunity. Number 13, bath towels. The loops in terry cloth can make it difficult to achieve a clean design. Now, the secret to doing bath towels, because they do have the pile or the loops or however you want to call it, is you do have to use a top cover water soluble stabilizer to keep these stitches from sinking down in that loop. And there's so many different methods of getting rid of the stabilizer. Once you're done, you pull it off, then you got all the little pieces left. You can use a wet Q-tip and go around and get it out. John Deere says you can get a tennis ball. Um, somebody's, I think I heard somebody say use some balled up water stabilizer that you pulled off and use it and rub it on it and get it off. I don't know if that works. I haven't tried it, but and then of course you can always wash it if it's not something that you're selling or what have you. But that's how you can do that. Now, um, somebody told me, and I'm trying to remember who it was. I don't remember who it was or where, but they purchased an item that had been embroidered on something, a tile. It probably was a tile that had the nap or the plushness or whatever you want to call it. And it still had the water soluble stabilizer on it. They pulled all the big stuff off, but the little bitty pieces and stuff was still on there. I was surprised. But it was sold that way and people would buy it. And this was from a company, it wasn't like Sally Sue selling it from her, home. It was in a store, and I don't know how it was manufactured, but that's how it was. So that was it. And Carol, you said a knockdown stitch first is good for towels. It works well too. Yes, and I do knockdown stitches as well. If you have embrilliance, then you need to have embrilliance enthusiasts, and then you get the knockdown stitch knockdown stitches uh, ability to do knockdown stitches in Brilliance Enthusiast, and it's a wonderful alternative to using the water soluble. And I do both. I do whichever one I feel like doing it, whichever one is going to look the best for the project that I'm doing. But I will do either or. But I do definitely recommend um, knockdown stitches if that's what makes you comfortable. And it looks really, really nice. And you don't have to worry about picking that water soluble stabilizer off of it either. And it tends to last a little longer as far as keeping it looking, especially if you put it on a towel that is going to be used and washed regularly. Now I have I'm one of these people that still believe in hanging, quote unquote, decorative tiles in your bathroom that you don't use. It's just up there for decoration. And I've stitched on those, and I didn't use the knockdown stitches. I used the water soluble, and they look absolutely fine because I don't wash them that often because I'm not using them all the time. When they get dusty, I wash them and put them back up. So it's not like they're getting washed every week and all that kind of stuff. Like you, and if you're going to have tiles that occurs, then I would definitely recommend using knockdown stitches because it's going to allow more life, a longer life of looking really, really good with your tiles. And they got terry towels on here, and it's the exact same thing. Bath towels, terry towels, it's the exact same situation. Stadium blankets often require a water soluble topper and a stabilizer backing. Um, Serpa blankets and knockdown stitches necessary to prevent stitches from getting lost. Definitely, now definitely use the knockdown stitch with Serpa because that pile is so high, so high. I think your stitches would drown in that, even if you do use water soluble. And I'm thinking that I did do hoodie. I can't remember if I used water soluble or knockdown now. I can't remember. Whatever I used, it came out really pretty. I don't remember what it is. It was hanging back there, but it's not hanging back there now, so I can't go pull it up and look at it. But you do have the option of a knockdown or the water soluble for things that have high piles of naps. So keep that in mind. And I think we all know that, but that can make those things challenging to use, and people may not want to deal with that type of embroidery if you're going to have those things. My thing wouldn't be so much of the using one or the other. My thing is the size of it and manipulating it in your machine and keeping everything straight, especially if you're doing more than just one design and you're doing a multiple linear design or something. That would that to me would be more of a challenge, and because it's so big. But people may only want an initial or just one design or something, which will not um, make that too difficult to do. Shower curtains. That's number 18. Large and unwieldy. They can be difficult to manage and stabilize. That I've never done. I wasn't even thinking that people embroider on shower curtains, but I guess people will embroider on anything. So shower curtains are part of it as well. Uh, I think I would use a tearaway stabilizer. And it definitely depends upon what I'm embroidering and where on that shower curtain that I'm doing the embroidering. That would definitely determine how challenging and difficult it is. But then it goes back to my very first comments when we first started talking, and that is the doggone satin silk, slippery fabric that I don't like messing with. So I don't like messing with that stuff. I'll do it. I would do it, but I don't like messing with it. I just be honest with it. Yeah. I don't like the fact that it tends to pucker, so you got to do it just right. It's got to be hooped just right and stabilized just right so you don't get the puckering. And I don't like puckering. I like for my stuff to come out looking smooth and pretty and everything like that. And the puckering really bothers me. And that type of material puckers a lot. So that would be one of my, as I said earlier, least favorite things to embroider. Hi Joyce, how you doing? Thank you for stopping by. It's been a minute. I'm glad you were able to stop in. Appreciate it. Um, Number 19, they say chef's hat, and I think that would be uh, well. I guess you're gonna just embroider on the band. Mm. I is that chef hat part dip? I bought my son one a long time ago. He's not a chef, but he thinks he is. And I bought him one for Christmas, birthday, whatever, with an apron. I didn't pay any attention to the band because I would assume that's what you embroider on is the band, what it is. But it couldn't be any worse than a hat, even though I wouldn't use a hat hoop for it. I would definitely, most likely, again, use um, one of my mighty hoops or a dirty fast frame for the chef hat, depending upon what design. Probably just an initial is what I would think most people would want, or a name or something like that. Nothing, spectacular. Number 20. That's the last one on this list. Fabric baskets. Embroidering before constructing can be difficult to plan and execute. Fabric baskets. Um, I have not done that, even though it is on my list to do, because I definitely intend to do a rope basket and I want to embroider on the inside of it. I know there are other options for the inside of the basket, but I want to be brave enough to actually embroider on the rope. Um, just haven't made up my mind how I'm going to do it because my single needle machine only does up to a 5x7, which means I will be making a pretty small basket. And I want to make a bigger basket. So I would have to make up my mind. And I'm not sure about, and I know you can do it on the multi needle machine. It's just me figuring out in my head how I'm going to do that. I know it can be done, and I know it shouldn't be a big deal, but most of the tutorials, matter of fact, all of the tutorials I've seen have done it on the single needle machine. And I'm one of these people that like to take everything that you do on a single needle machine and show you guys how to do it on a multi needle machine. That's pretty much the framework of my channel. So I have to figure it out in my own head how that's going to happen to make sure that I come up with a good plan so we have a good outcome. And if anybody has done that, that's good. Just tell me about it so we can get that done. Get that done. And Carol, you say if it doesn't move, embroider it. Well, we got a lot of stuff that moves. All that silky satin, slippery stuff moves too much for me. But we still embroider on it. But I hear what you say. Anything just about can be embroidered on it. If you can get a needle through it, you can hoop it. That's pretty much that's pretty much it, really, to be honest about it. Almost anything can be embroidered on. If you can hoop it and if you can get a needle through it, then it can be embroidered. So we will keep the list of things that can be embroidered, but they're also challenging and difficult. Now, I was browsing while I went through the AI, and then the AI makes recommendations to different sites and what have you. And it wasn't a lot of information because, of course, people don't want to admit that there are things about their projects that they don't like, because the biggest thing is caps, jacket backs, those things are the most common that people will say they don't like doing, difficult to do, or what have you. That's number one. Number two, and then everything else is down the line. But you hear more and more people say, I don't like doing jacket backs, I don't like doing caps. Caps, I believe, is number one. But I went to this site and it doesn't necessarily say projects per se. Her question, and this is from Bonnie at what is her So Inspired. So Inspired by Bonnie is her site. And she conducted a little survey for the people on her Facebook group. And her question is, what is your least favorite part of machine embroidery? And I'm going to just mention what she came up with. And she has the percentage. And this is based upon her group of people. And well, I guess she went from the lowest to the highest. So the lowest one was 1.7% of her viewers said badly digitized designs. And that kind of goes back to me in those jump stitches. Badly digitized designs will drive you crazy, especially when you don't know it's a bad design until you get it. Then also broken needles. There are some people that really, really hate to change needles. Now, I was looking at a short yesterday, I believe it was, and it appeared because it was a short with no words, no voice, no sound. It appeared that this person took one of these magnetic screwdrivers or magnetic apparatus. There is something that you can buy that will magnetize your screwdriver or magnetize something. And he rubbed it on the needle, the embroidery needle, and then he took it and inserted it in his um, machine. And I said, that's pretty cool because it looked like it went straight up in the hole. And I know there are some people that struggle with trying to get it in the hole, um, especially the ones with the flat backs, because you would think that would be easier because there's only one way to turn it. But it can be just as challenging as the round ones getting them straight. I've had issues myself trying to get it up in the hole, and you try to unscrew it like the time when I almost lost the little screw that comes out because I couldn't get it to go up for some reason, and obviously I was missing the hole some kind of way. So because you're not up under there looking at the hole, so you're just kind of feeling for it. And I just thought that that was a pretty cool trick. Now, I don't know if that works or not. I do have something to magnetize things. I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to give it a try. If I can remember to do that next time I need to change a needle, I'm going to see if that works. Another thing, this is all part of the 1.7% where people said the poorly digitized design, broken needles, cleaning up the mess, and that's cleaning up behind yourself so you get your room back in order. Yeah, that can be a bit much. Needle in the finger, been there, done that, she says, as well as me. But this was years ago when I was actually working in an industrial sewing factory, and I sewed my finger. I have not done that since. Hopefully, I won't. But I do know that people do that. People do that. It happens. I think it happened to somebody on here not too long ago. Prep work, um, just getting things together to do your embroidery. The only thing about prep work that can be a little, um, I don't want to say daunting, because it's not daunting, but anyway, it's on here somewhere, is changing the threads. And that's whether you got a single needle or multi needle, especially when you have a lot of different colors that you have to use and you're constantly changing the thread out. That can be, yeah. Interruptions, I don't get a lot of interruptions, so that doesn't bother me too much. Removing the stabilizer, cutting the stabilizer off, and making sure you're not going to cut the garment. That scares me sometimes. I'm a lot better. I have a better technique now that I use, so I'm not as caught. Well, I am cautious. I'm not as concerned as I used to be, but I have cut my garment a couple of times, cutting the stabilizer. So you got to be careful. Too many different stabilizers, which can be confusing. Trying to figure out which stabilizer you need and getting the right one, and having I have a whole basket full of stabilizers down on the floor. Then I have a rack up here. So yeah, you can get stabilizer overload at some, and I actually I have a video, and it's called stabilizer overload that I put out when I first started doing it, because that's just how I felt. Because everybody is telling you you need this stabilize, that stabilize, this one, that one, all that stuff, and then you run out and get it because you need all these different stabilizers for all these different projects and material and stuff. And yeah, it gets to be a lot. And then also to remember what's better and what's best and all of that. So use the resources that I mentioned and just be wise at what you buy. And what was recommended by John Deere, and I mention him a lot, but I listen to him because he's been around for a long time. He said that there is no difference in stabilizers, so don't run out there and buy the most expensive one. Is they all are made at the same manufacturing company. It's only one, and then they change the labels based upon who they're selling it to, and those people brand it, and they can sell them at different prices. So the least expensive one you can get works. If you find one that you think is not working for you, then you switch up and get something different. But I have not noticed a big difference in OESD stabilizer from Bro Thread stabilizer that I get off of Etsy. So I don't think there's that big of a difference. Trimming appliques. Now, I don't really dislike trimming appliques. I've gotten pretty good at it, so it doesn't bother me. And turning off the machine to go to bed at night. I don't have a problem turning my machine off because I'm usually tired by the time I get ready to go to bed. So that was 1.7% of the people that answered. The next one was 3.6% said choosing fabric and items to embroider. Now, choosing fabrics can get daunting depending upon the the project. And as she said, the item to embroider. So whatever that project is, choosing the fabric can get daunting a little bit. And downloading, unzipping, and transferring designs. Yeah, they get on my nerves. And I'm still not organized with my designs. So yeah, that downloading part doesn't bother me. Unzipping and transferring and moving around, all of that gets a little bit not enough time to get everything done. That should be, yeah, that should be back in the back with one of the higher, least favorite things because I never have enough time. And then threading the needle. They have needle threaders that you can buy to help you see how to thread the needles. I don't know how to use it. I think I do, but I've never used one. And luckily, my 10 needle machine has a needle threader, and it broke one time, and I was not happy. And hopefully it doesn't break again because I love the fact that it is an automatic needle threader. I love that. I'm spoiled. 5.3% of the people said choosing thread colors. That can be irritating to me because most designs you buy, for some reason, is designed with a thread that I don't use. It's usually Madeira, and I only have a few spools of Madeira, or I've gotten a lot with Isacord, and that's pretty much. I mostly use Floriani and Metro EMB. I don't think I've gotten anything that was digitized with Metro EMB, and probably very little with Floriani. And the other thing that bothers me is not a lot of conversion colors for the Floriani thread based upon Madeira, which doesn't make sense to me. So I'm always trying to figure out how to match up the color that has been recommended for that particular design area with what I have. That is time consuming. So yeah, that bothers me. So that should be higher on the list. And cutting jump stitches. So those two things, that's 5.3%. It should be, it would be higher for me because those are two things that really kind of irritate me. 7.1% said changing the bobbin and problem with the machine, stitch out broken thread and stuff like that. I luckily don't get a lot of that, so that's not something that irritates me too much. 12.5% of the people said changing thread. And I agree with that. The changing thread gets to be cumbersome, especially if you have a lot of thread colors. That's the very reason why I wanted a multi-needle machine. And now that I'm doing other projects, I'm still changing colors a lot. So I'm still changing thread. And I have more needles to change it with. And lastly, 26.8% said what they like the least about embroidering is hooping and design placement. So basically, getting everything centered and lined up straight and all of that when you're hooping is their biggest irritation, I guess. And that can be it can be challenging, and I agree. You just have to buy. You're always buying something, but you got to have the right tools. You have to have the right tools. Now they have the grids that come with your hoops for the flatbed machines. I think every flatbed machine hoops have the grids that you use where you can center your design and mark your place and get the center and all of that kind of stuff. The multi-needle machines don't, um, well, that's not true. I think they had grids too, but I don't use those hoops. I use mighty hoops, and mighty hoops don't have grids. They do have the center, the top and the bottom and the sides, just like other hoops do, but they don't have grids that you put in there. But the lucky thing about the fact, and that's probably why they don't have grids, is because traditionally they have been for multi-needle machines, even though they're making them for single needle machines now. Um, you usually have some type of mechanism on your machine, be it a laser light or a camera or something, where you can do your centering and getting your stitch points in place. You have your snowmen or your little placement stickers, all of those different resources or tools that you can use. You use your heat away pens, water away pens, or whatever you're using to do your marking and stuff, and hoop your your fabric, and then make sure you got it where you want it by using your camera and all of that. They have the laser Crossmark PAL camera that you can get from Dime. I have the big one and it has the Crossmark, so you can put it on your mat and you can use it to mark your place. Then you put your sticker on there, snowman or whatever you use it. Take it to the machine and you can move it around with the camera and make sure that it is where you want it to be. Those are resources that you can use to make sure that it's going to get hooped correctly in the right spot. So basically what I'm saying is if your number one thing that pet peeve about embroidering is hooping and placement, which it used to be mine. When I first started, OMG, hoop. I almost stopped embroidering because of hooping. Because I tell you, I couldn't use those regular hoops. But and then the placement, because my measurement ain't the best. But I've learned, I've gotten a lot better. There's a lot of shortcuts and techniques, and people fold things in half, fold them in quarters, all of that kind of stuff, and get the center and what have you. I've done that with tiles, and it works really well. I do the fold in half with t-shirts and hoodies and stuff to get the center before I put it on my hooping station, and of course I have a hooping station, and with that I can hoop it in the same spot all the time. I had a project not too long ago where I had to do a left chest and a right chest, a left chest logo and the name on the right, and of course you want them to line up perfectly and all of that, and I used my hooping station and I went from the left to the right and they came out perfect without a headache or a struggle. And that's why I love my hooping station and my mighty hoop, because you can do stuff like that and make it easier than having to measure. And if I had to measure and all that kind of stuff and mark and everything all the time without that help, not saying that you don't need to do some kind of marking or what have you, or using a snowman or putting your camera on, but it's nowhere near as complicated as it was when I first started. And I was just doing it on the flatbed and using the grids and stuff. That just, yeah, I didn't like it. But I did it and I got better at it and I've learned shortcuts and what have you. So that does help. And hopefully it will help anybody out there, especially if you're starting new and you're trying to figure out how to maneuver stuff and oh, I don't like doing this and I don't like doing that because it's difficult, it's hard, and it's challenging. If you look at enough YouTube videos, look at the way people are doing stuff, and then practice and do it, practice and do it, practice and do it. You have to practice and do it. You'll get better at it and it won't be so difficult. Now, Pearl, you said you bought a class by Deborah Jones on embroidering on difficult fabrics. I was looking today online when I was preparing for this presentation today, and I saw where there was a class by Deborah Jones on that embroidering on difficult fabrics. So, how did that class go for you? Did you like the class? Was the class helpful? Is that something that you would recommend? If you don't mind answering that question, that would be appreciated so we can share with everybody else. Because I did see it, I think they also had some books by Deborah Jones with the same topic. And I'm a book person. I'll buy a book in a minute. And because I like to have stuff I read when I'm drinking my coffee in the morning. And I don't read novels. I've stopped reading novels years ago when I started working as a pharmaceutical rep because we had to read so much stuff for work, all of that scientific medical stuff that I had to read, that I just got away from reading novels because I didn't have time. So now I enjoy reading to learn and not so much reading for enjoyment. like I used to, which is kind of sad because I did like to read novels a lot, but I don't do it anymore. But I will sit up and drink my coffee and read about how to do this and how to do that and this process and that process and mark the book and go back and look at it and all of that kind of stuff. That's my entertainment and my enjoyment. So like I said, I did see um where she had a book. So if you don't mind, Pearl, if you can just share that information, I would appreciate it. Hopefully you can. And if anybody else has any tips or anything about some of the difficulties that they've had with different projects that you really don't like doing, but you've overcome it, jump in and share. Now, uh, I also was led to, I didn't ask for it, I was led to it because I guess they said if you're going to be looking at stuff that people could consider negative, let's talk about something that's positive. And so the AI led me to a list of beginner friendly embroidery projects that are perfect for those just starting out, is what it says. And the number one thing that they mention is embroidering on kitchen towels. They lay flat and are inexpensive, making them ideal for practice. Um, Towels of any kind, because I remember being advised when I very first started was to embroider on towels. And I went to Sam's and I bought this big bundle of white washcloths. And I still have several of the ones that I haven't stitched on as well as the ones that I have stitched on. And Eve from Baby Booty, because I watched her religiously at that time when she was doing embroidery. And she was basically teaching all of us how to embroider. And that's where I learned a lot from. And I do appreciate all that she was able to share at that time. And now she's doing rhinestone. I'm just pitching her. She does rhinestone and she's teaching people about that. So she's an excellent teacher. If you're interested in rhinestone, then Eve would be someone that I would recommend. But anyway, back to the towels. I did learn how to embroider on towels. So dish towels, washcloths, what have you. If you and the second one is monogram hand towels. Personalized towels with monogram as a simple starter project. Pillow shams. Add a custom touch to a pillow sham with monogramming. And believe it or not, I've not done a pillow sham, pillowcase, pillow sham. I haven't done any kind of pillow sham. Well, I guess that's not true. I've made pillows and I've embroidered on. I've done usually every year I do a Christmas pillow, a pair of Christmas pillows, and I don't consider them shams though. But I think they would be shams because they have the zipper and you can take the filling out and all of that. So I guess they are shams. But they're more intricate. They got Santa Claus and all of that kind of, so they're not like just a monogram. Monogram men's shirt cuffs. Practice precision with monogram on shirt cuffs. Now, that's not inexpensive unless you go into the Goodwill or someplace and get you a bunch of cheap shirts. Uh, Men's shirts aren't cheap and you don't want to mess them up. But if you just can get some inexpensive shirts, or if somebody, your significant other, friend, brother, cousin, whomever, have some old tattered shirts that they don't want that they can give you to practice on, then that's a recommendation. So you can just practice on the cuffs. Monogramming scarf. A scarf is a great canvas for trying out different stitches. I've never stitched on a scarf. Now, silk scarf, satin scarf, what kind of scarf you talking about? It goes back to that material I don't like. Maybe I need to get some of those scarves and practice on that material and get myself out of this rut with this satin silk slick stuff. So that's a note to myself. Get you some inexpensive scarves and stitch on them. Um, Monogram straw hat. Embellish a straw hat with a unique design for summer flair. I don't necessarily. Well, it's not hard. You just need to know how to hoop a hat or have the proper hoop to do it with. I use my, I believe, Durkee X frame. I believe that's what I use. I might have used the Mighty Hoop for my straw hat, but I have embroidered on straw hats before, and it's not hard at all. Um, Tearaway, stabilizer, and depending upon the straw, you might get away with nothing at all. Be honest about it. Might get away with nothing at all, or something like a water soluble. You got the kind of well straw hat you can wet it. That might work. Give you some more added stability so you don't see the stabilizer from the inside. You want the inside to be as cute as possible because the hat can flip and flop and all of that. And you want what they see in the inside to look as cute as they do on the outside. Um, that's what I saw. Pearl, you said it was very helpful to you because you got the book uh, too, so you could get a better understanding of the class. It was on Craftsy, and yes, you would recommend it. Okay, Crafty Gemini? No, or that Craft. I think I know what you're talking about. I used to belong to that. I think if it's that subscription. But anyway, good. That's good to know. I might have to check that out because that sounds like something that would be useful to take a class or at least get the book, as you mentioned, that goes over how to stitch on various types of fabrics because it's different, and the stabilizers that you use are different. The needles that you use are different. The speed of your stitching is different. So there's a lot of and your designs that you choose are different. So it's a lot of parameters that you have to take into consideration when you are stitching on various types of fabrics. So yes, that I think is an excellent, excellent, excellent course. So I'm gonna look into it. Deborah Jones, you guys. Deborah Jones. Like I said, I saw it today, and I was intrigued about it, but I didn't have time to really do a lot of investigating. But I do remember seeing it. So good. Glad to know that somebody has actually had the class and everything. Was the class expensive? Um, if you're a member, if this is the subscription that I'm thinking about, then I think you can get it at a reasonable price with the subscription, or either it comes with your subscription. I don't know. The other thing that they're saying is a simple project would be made over thrift clothing, which is kind of what I mentioned about the cufflinks and stuff. Go to a thrift store of some kind, get you some stuff, and start stitching on it. Whatever it is that you want to do or learn how to do, use some of your thrift clothes and do it. The other thing that Eve recommended, and I wasn't that good at it, but I tried. When you mess up a garment of some kind, use that as your sample to mess up something else, but basically to learn how to do something. because you got all these different areas on this garment that you haven't stitched on that you can stitch on and practice and see how it's going to come out and all of that. So it's a good and girl, I messed up so much stuff in the beginning. I had this big old huge bag full of stuff I messed up, and when I moved, I just pitched it. But I was trying to do what she said, just keep it, and then when you get ready to do something new, pull it out and practice on that before you actually practice on your real garment, which actually is an excellent idea, especially if it's going to be the same material that you're going to be doing your stitching. I know back when I had to do this satin sash for my daughter-in-law, I didn't have anything satin. I don't do satin. I went to the fabric shop and I bought some satin so I could do a test on it to see how it was going to stitch, how I was going to hoop it, all of that. Because, like I said, it's not something that I like doing. It is a challenge to me, and I wanted to make sure that it was right. And I finished it, but I'm not happy with the results of it. And I'm seriously thinking about just getting another one and doing it over for her as a gift and as a freebie basically that looks better. I'm gonna try it again. Yeah, I'm gonna try it again. Like I want to do that again. But I'm picky with stuff that I sent out. I want things to look perfect, and I wasn't happy with it. She liked it. I wasn't happy with it because I know I can do better. So I think I'm going to do maybe if I look at Deborah Jones' book or something, and then maybe I can make a better choice on whatever the stabilizer, whatever I did. Hey Leslie, how are you? And you will have to watch the replay to see what you missed. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. But I was not expecting to see you on here tonight. I thought you were up in Alaska somewhere by now. Was glad to see you. I'm assuming I won't see you tomorrow night, though. That I think that's what we had said, but I might be totally off base because, girl, I can't remember stuff. But anyway, thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it. And yes, you can definitely look at the replay to see what you missed. But we're talking about um, projects, machine embroidery projects that you uh, uh, don't like doing, your least favorite embroidery project. And put your name in the pot, girl. If you got something that you hate doing, hate's a strong word, that you don't like doing, frustrated, fearful, challenging, however you want to label it, that you really kind of shy away from, because what we're trying to do is talk about it and maybe give some ideas and suggestions as to how to do it or get over that frustration, fear, what have you, so you can embrace whatever that particular project is. So the next one is tote bags. They said the tote bags is a simple design. Put a simple design on a tote bag for practice project, as long as you know how to hoop the tote bag. That would be the challenge. And being a beginner, that might be a little much. Number 9 is luggage tags. Yeah, that's pretty simple. Create custom luggage tags with a durable material. Get a pattern and do that. And then the last one they have is a small. Excuse me, I don't know why I'm getting so congested. Baby bibs. Baby bibs are easy. They're flat material and they have some of the cutest designs. So you can just go crazy with baby bibs. I just hope you know people just you can give them to or sell them, because you can really go crazy with baby bibs and burp cloth. Um, because They are pretty easy to embroider. And like I said, they have so many really, really cute designs that you won't have any difficulty finding something to embroider on a baby bib. And Pearl, you said the class was free at the time because you had the subscription for $1 at the time. And I remember when they had that dollar plan and all of that, I didn't take advantage of it. I should have because I keep seeing it pop up. I don't know what it is at this moment, but I still don't think it's too expensive. But I still might look into it. If it's not too expensive, then I might go ahead and do it. And Carol, you say you don't like that. I guess you're talking about with embroidery. I'm assuming you're talking about embroidery deadlines. Yes, that yeah, yeah, deadlines can be interesting. Speaking of deadlines, I've been debating ever since I've been on here tonight whether or not to bring this up or not. Hi, Arlene. You say, I know I'm at the end of the program, but just wanted to say hello. Well, I am so thankful that you did. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it. And yes, we are getting close to the end. And since you mentioned that, I want to remind people, give me a thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up is very important. If you got anything out of this program presentation, hit the like button. Please do. It's very important. Comment, subscription, all of that. Subscribe, comment, like button and notification bell. Please. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. But yeah, I'm glad you did stop by, Arlene. Everybody is welcome, regardless of what time you stop in. There is no problem with that. We always have the replay where you can replay it and catch up. But what I was saying is that I've been debating whether or not I was going to say anything or not right now. But I've been talking for a minute about changing the name of my YouTube channel. And I know I haven't done anything on my channel in a while. There's several reasons for them, and I guess I want to call them excuses because that's exactly what they were, what they are. Um, Even though they're legitimate reasons, but it's still an excuse. I still should have been doing something, but I've not abandoned my channel. I will get back to putting videos on my channel very soon. I've been busy or deflected to other projects that have kind of taken that place, but I'm getting back. But I will be announcing next week. So everybody come back. All of you that are in YouTube land, Facebook land, every one of you guys and more plan on coming back next week because I do have a very important announcement that I want to make. And it's going to be a celebration. We're going to celebrate. Get down. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're going to do that next week because I do have, like I said, something that I want to share with everybody and have fun with it. And I will just give you a heads up on one of them will be a new name. Finally came up with anyway, yes, but that's not the celebration part. Just that's just part of it. But I just wanted to bring that up because I want to encourage everybody. I want to make you think about it real hard. Like I got to come back next week and see what this is all about. Yeah, that's what I want you to do. So I definitely want you to come back next week and see what it's all about. And I'm going to make the announcement, and it's going to be a whole bunch of stuff that will be happening going forward that I want to tell you guys about. So um, No, I'm not moving. Not yet. I will be, but not yet. That's not it yet. But I'll have another celebration for that one. But yeah, so I just wanted to say that, I'm biting my tongue, trust and believe me. But I am. But anyway, Kingsbury Craft, thank you for stopping by. And yes, please, everybody, do the thumbs up as she says. That is something that is very important. As I've mentioned, it keeps the channel going. It moves me up the search bar because the YouTube algorithm is what it is. And it looks at likes, subscription, comments, length of time that you watch, all of that. They take all of that into consideration when they are making the decision whether or not they're going to move you up in the search bar where people can actually find you. So that's important. That's one of the major reasons why I wanted to change my name, as I have mentioned, because I realized just listening to other people trying to shout me out on their channels, and they get tongue tied with my name, because so too we begin embroidery is a lot, and it's not something that just rolls off your tongue easily. When I came up with it, I knew in my head what it meant, but that doesn't mean everybody else knows what it means. And I was trying to play off, I guess my name, or not my name, but my initial with the S. I don't know what I do know what my rationale was, but it didn't make a lot of sense. So now I've come up with something that is easy to remember, rolls off your tongue. Everything is going to be a lot simpler to 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 find me, and that's the main purpose of me changing my YouTube name. So it will affect my YouTube channel, and it will affect my live channel and everything else that is associated with So Too We Begin, because I do have stuff on Facebook and what have you, and all of that will be changing to the new name. And the only thing that I have to do is find out how the rollover works, because I don't want to lose any of you guys. And that's one of the reasons why the one thing that I will be doing next week is making the announcement so everybody that watches can get the new name and hear about it, know what it is, and all of that kind of stuff. So you guys will know how to find me and keep up with me. Hi, 2011 MS Miss Max. Hi, 2011 Miss Max. Glad you stopped by. Watching the replay is perfectly fine. I do appreciate it. I just love the fact that you stopped in. I know sometimes people get busy with life and they can't come in at 8 o'clock, but you can come in at 9, you can come in at 10. If I'm still on here and just say hi, it doesn't matter. Last week, I believe that's what Jeanette did. She popped in, and I think it was 10 o'clock or 10:01. And I guess she happened to see I was still on, and she popped in and said hi. So it does not matter. I do appreciate it when you do. Just shows that there is some support, and that's the most important thing, that you guys follow me, support me, share. That's important too. Share this information. Reach out to other people that you know don't come in and say, hey, check Shirley out. Check her stuff out. She might be able to give you some good information, or you might be able to share some stuff with other people, because that's what we do. That's why we're here. We're not here just simply to hear me. We're here to share ideas. That's why when I'm looking at the comments, I share what I'm reading. I might not put your comment on screen all the time, but I do put things, as you know, on screen. But I do read stuff, and because I want to share it with other people that not seeing your comment. and you're making a comment because that's the whole purpose. That's why I said I wanted everybody to participate. Mention that when we first came on, because this particular topic, what is your least favorite embroidery project to do and why, is a participatory subject where you have to put in some information. And most of you have done that. So that is really, really good. I do appreciate it. And 2011 Miss Max says, you just got your machine back after, oh my goodness, after 5 weeks? Wow. You got your machine back after 5 weeks in the shop, getting the order you thought you had lost, done, and glad you caught part of the live. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I understand, girl, that catch up. Trust me. I know if I can. When I got back home from my trip to Florida over the Mother Day week, I had to get in here and get some catch up doing. So yeah, I understand the catch up and stuff. Hi Marissa, how you doing? Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it. Happy Tuesday, and you will watch the replay as well. I do appreciate the support. Thumbs up, everybody. Thumbs up, all of you that are coming in late. I'm loving it. I'm loving it because you're coming in. That's all that matters. You're saying hi. You're showing me your support. And again, like I said, the thumbs up and the sharing and the comments. I asked this question or made this statement where it actually is a request, actually, at the very beginning of this live, and that is help with suggestions for lives. I know it was suggested to go back over some of the things I've already presented and do a refresh, add some information, correct some information if it wasn't uh, correct at the time. And I am definitely going to do that because that's a big help to come just kind of go through what you've already done. Because I get new people all the time that didn't hear the first time, and everybody does not go back and watch all of my old videos because I got 100, well, which tonight is 140 videos. That's not a whole lot because some people have 4, 5, 600 videos, but it's not bad to come up with 100 videos, 140 videos, and I'm shooting for 100, not 100. I'm shooting for 300 this year. I don't know if I'm gonna make it with the 300, but I'm still shooting for it. Put it that way. If I make it, I'm gonna be happy, but I'm gonna definitely shoot for it because that was my goal initially to have 300 videos this by the end of the year. It's still possible. It's just a lot of work, but nonetheless, I can reach that goal if you guys can just help me out a little bit with some suggestions. What are you interested in hearing about? What has been on your mind? What questions do you have? What do you think about? I try to look at Facebook groups and look at some of the questions that people are asking and kind of get an idea of a discussion from that. That's kind of been a little dry here lately. There's been a lot of questions that I've seen about pricing, and we've done some pricing, several videos on that. So I didn't want to bring that up, um, even though that's still relevant about pricing and dealing with customers and pricing because they don't want to pay the price that you put out. They want to pay their own price. Mm. Stick to your gun. You got to learn how to stick to your gun. Where they won't, somebody will, hopefully. If you do good work, somebody will pay the price that you're asking for, hopefully. Unless you are actually overpriced, then that's something that you have to take into consideration and correct it. But anyway, that's another topic. But whatever it is that you're interested in, put it in the comments. Go onto my YouTube page. I have a community page on there. You can put it in that comment. I do check it. You can put it in the regular comments, or you can put it on here and just say, um, why don't we discuss this, or what about this, or this happened to me, why don't we talk about it? Those kinds of things. That could be um, a good conversation. I'm looking at Carol saying she doesn't like deadlines. Deadlines could be a conversation. We all have some kind of deadline that we have to meet, and how do we manage meeting them? Um, do we stay up late, get up early? Do we have multiple machines, multiple hoops? All of those kinds of things are things that can be done in order to help you move along and meet your deadline, whatever that may be. But it can be stressful if you have a deadline. It can very well be stressful. You just never know how that's going to work with you. And you have to figure out it's organizational skills. I'm pretty good in organization in some aspects. I just don't do diddly squat with organizing these embroidery designs. I'm going to be better. I got to be better. I don't have a choice but to be better. But I tell you, it's rough. So, 2011, Miss Max, do you charge people for the digitizing when they decide the embroidery part is too expensive for them? Wait a minute. Yes. If I paid for the digitizing, then the answer is yes. Now, how do we handle that? Because you can't make somebody give you money. You can't make anybody pay. You can say, yes, you owe me XYZ, and it's up to them to, be uh, you know, stand up to their debt and pay it. But if you paid to have something digitized and they said, no, I'm not going to do this embroidery because you're charging me too much, and you've already paid the digitizer to digitize the design, they owe you money because you had to pay the digitizer. So my take on that, I get money up front, especially when I'm dealing with people I know. I don't know. I put it that way. Now, I do have family members that I have not necessarily required them to pay me up front, but I'm not worried about it because I know I'm gonna get paid. Even though I still would like for them to pay me up front too, but I don't worry about it. But a regular customer, yes, you have to let them know up front when the conversation first starts that there is a digitizing fee that must be paid. And this is owed whether you do the work or not. And I have to be honest about it. I did a video last year when I first started doing the live, and it was about how do you deal with difficult um, customers. And I had this one customer that did not pay for her digitizing, and I did have it digitized. And I told her she owed me. I did not make her pay me up front, which I should have, but the main reason was I didn't have to pay for the digitizing. I had a relationship with a company at the time where I actually was getting free digitizing. So I knew I did not have to pay for the digitizing. Therefore, I took the risk. And luckily, I didn't have to pay for it because I would have been stuck with that money because she did not pay me. And I told her she owed me, and she did not pay me. She did not uh, want to do the work because she thought it was too expensive. This exact scenario, exact scenario. She didn't want to do it because she thought it was too expensive when I gave her everything, the bill, not the bill, but the breakdown of what everything was going to cost. Wanted multiple things done. And I told her what everything was going to cost, including getting the items and the digitizing and the embroidery and everything. And she's like, had a hissy fit, thought it was too much money. And she backed down and said, no, she didn't want to do it. That's fine. But again, I had actually done some work because I did the digitizer and I did some samples. And she didn't like this, so we did it again and again and again. At least three or four times. And I told her this was it. We weren't doing it anymore. Every little minute thing she didn't like. So then it just, the whole project fell through. I don't think she was gonna do it anyway because I guess she wanted it. I don't know what she wanted. She didn't want to pay what I was charging, and I was not charging an outrageous price. But anyway, that was that one occasion. And like I said, I didn't actually lose money per se because I didn't pay for the digitizing. I lost money with my time. And I told her that, but she didn't care. And no, she did not pay. But going forward, get all your, if you don't get all of it, what I do, I tell them 75% of my fee, the entire fee, digitizing everything, is due up front, period. The 25% is due once she approves the sample and gives me the go ahead to do the work. So by the time I put the first stitch into her garment, I have 100% of my pay. That's the way I handle my business because usually it's custom. And what am I going to do with it? I can't sell it to nobody else because it's your stuff. And I can't get my hours back, my stabilizer back, my thread back. I can't get any of that stuff back because I've already used it on your things. So, yeah, pay me up front and go into any big brick and mortar place and get a custom order done. You can pay for it up front. You're going to pay for it up front. You can't order anything off Amazon or no place else and wait until it gets to you to see if you like it before you pay for it. You're going to pay for it up front. So people are used to paying for things up front. So, yes, get your money up front. So that was a long answer. And you had already said great answer, but I just wanted to put my explanation in there. But anyway, I'm looking at the clock and it's already after 10. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. As usual, thank you so much. Again, thumbs up. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of the week. And if it's the Lord's will, I will see you guys here again next Thursday, Wednesday. What is the day? Tuesday. Child, my brain. Today, Tuesday. Next Tuesday. And for those of you that are on here that are part of the so long, I hope to see you tomorrow, 7 o'clock. We're going to do something. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and say good night to everybody. And you guys take care. And again, you're very much appreciated. Bye bye.